good evening to you and a warm welcome to the Long Room at Lord's Cricket Ground, one of the most iconic buildings in sport anywhere in the world. And we're here now, ladies and gentlemen, for the 2022 Royal Navy Sports Awards. And before we go any further, I must say what a fantastic time it is to be in the Long Room here at Lord's after England's amazing performance in the first Test match on the first day today against Pakistan. Can you believe 400 separate hundreds for the England batsmen? And the first time ever in the history of Test cricket that England, or any team, has reached 500 so quickly in the Test match. And we are here in the Long Room, ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate that. Isn't that amazing? But we are here, ladies and gentlemen, and all of you who are watching at home, hopefully, and wherever you are around the world with the Royal Navy tonight, to celebrate the very best of Royal Navy sport. And without further ado, let me hand over now to our Master of Ceremonies this evening. It's Glenn.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now commence the second phase of the evening. And thank you to BFPS, we are now live. Please welcome POPT Luke Warrington, who will preside over the Team of the Year.
Admiral Burns, sir, distinguished and honoured guests. This is the award for the RN Sports Team of the Year 2022, Royal Navy Rugby League. 2022 has been the most exceptional year for Royal Navy Rugby League, boasting the most successful Challenge Cup run for a senior service side in 30 years of Armed Forces Rugby League. Following a 20-month break from the game due to COVID-19 and the loss of many more senior players, Royal Navy Rugby League began their impressive resurgence by taking on the renowned London Chargers in the autumn of 2021, coming away with an impressive home performance with a 54-22 win. It was evident from that point that this group of young Navy players were going to create something special. The momentum continued through the off-season training camps in December, and in January they drew the Bridgend Bulls away in the first round of the Challenge Cup. It was off to South Wales for a tough encounter with the Welsh champions. Once again, after a first-class performance, they breezed into the second round with a 66-0 victory. There was no tougher draw than the second round and the current inter-service champions, the Army, away at Aldershot, but Royal Navy Rugby League did not disappoint. Being 4-10 down with 6 minutes to go, they scored 2 tries and beat the Army in their own backyard with a 14-10 victory. The third round saw the introduction of the National Conference League sides, and the Navy drew York Acorn, top performers and National Conference League finalists. A dominant performance from the Navy saw the Navy take control of the game from the early stages and left York Acorns shocked and stunned with an impressive 22-8 win and a place in the fourth round. The luck of the draw was once again not with the Navy, as they drew a match against the Batley Bulldogs, who had reached the championship playoffs in both the 2021 and 22 seasons, missing out on promotion to the Super League by only a small margin. The challenge could not have been tougher. However, Royal Navy Rugby League played live on the BBC with the full pride and passion of the senior service, and although the result didn't go their way, they gained full respect from a professional rugby league side and have been invited back for a fixture in the coming season. The remainder of the season focused on preparations for the pinnacle of 2022, the Inter-Service Championships. Following the most well-attended inter-service training camp in Royal Navy Rugby League history, boasting no less than 64 players, the scene was set for the RAF match at home on the 23rd of September. As expected, the RAF provided a tough encounter, but the Navy men prevailed triumphant, winning 22-12. This result set the scene for what was to be the most successful Royal Navy Rugby League season since the association's inception in 1997. an away match in Odsal, Bradford against the Army on Saturday the 1st of October. Royal Navy Rugby League finished the season as they started and came away with an impressive 12-10 victory and the Inter-Service crown for both the senior and academy sides. It was the perfect finish to an exceptional season, and for this reason, Royal Navy Rugby League is awarded the Royal Navy Sports Team of the Year 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on behalf of Royal Navy Rugby League, Lieutenant Commander Jason Steele and POAET Ben Taylor to collect the award, which will be presented by Vice Admiral Andy Burns, CB, OBE, Fleet Commander and Chief Naval Warfare Officer.
Very well indeed, Jason. Good to see you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's been quite an audience so far tonight here at the dinner, I have to say. But Jason, first of all, many congratulations. What a fantastic season you've had.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much for your for all the celebrations. And just in case anybody was unaware, the Royal Navy Rugby League tables are one at just the back end of it. It's a quiet one, but we're going to celebrate in silence and have a really good night.
A really good night and a really great season. I mean, to reach the fourth round of the Challenge Cup the way you do. I was with you all the way, by the way.
You were.
I did stand on a very cold touchline in South Wales for that first round match.
I do remember, actually, we've been in this position before once or twice, John, and I just like to say what a fantastic season it's been, and for Royal Navy Rugby League in its 25th season to perform in this way was absolutely fantastic. You know, on the back of the COVID situation, we were in a position in 2021 where we actually, due to the restrictions of COVID and getting players back from an operational environment, we actually couldn't enter a team in the Inter-Service Championships. But on the back of that, we've lost a load of senior players, but we actually got a load of, a significant number of new players that came along at the end of 21, and we developed into a side in 2022, which we didn't even imagine could achieve what they've achieved. And Royal Navy Rugby League took a bit of a dip in COVID, but actually coming out of it, we're in a position where we're just going from strength to strength. And a 2022 season with a lot of young new players, bolstered by some of the more senior players like Buck Taylor here, the captain, we've actually just gone from strength to strength, and we've got many more years to come, and we're just getting better and better. So, that's right, yeah.
And I think we also really have to pay tribute to Steve Lockton, your head coach. He's been amazing, hasn't he?
Steve Lockton has been absolutely fantastic. So I've known Steve since he was a young AB about 20 years ago when he got involved with Navy Rugby League. And Steve finished his playing in 2013, got involved with coaching in 2014, and he's just taken the squad from strength to strength to strength. And as much as he might have, he's just left the service, and I think his most difficult his most difficult decision was leaving Navy Rugby League, not leaving the Royal Navy. But he's made that decision, but he's left Rugby League in a really good position moving forward into the future with a really strong bunch of players. And as much as 2022 has been a really good season, it's just the beginning. But can I just add? I can stand here all night and I can talk about bits and pieces and all that sort of stuff, but the most important thing about the association is the players. So I'd just like to hand over to...
Yep.
You probably know the Yorkshire Pros.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I was going to introduce him because this man here not only is the captain, but he is the Yorkshire Pros.
So he's not only the captain, and he's played in every single fixture for as long as I can remember, but he is also the Yorkshire Pros. So if you haven't heard of the Yorkshire Pros, you're about to, folks. And you're about to be...
And Ben, have you written something specially for tonight?
I wrote some on train on way down, so... That's safeguard as well. And I don't just spontaneously bust into verse either, which most people seem to think I do. Jace. So yeah, it means a lot to me to get asked to do this. So here we go. Now, I skipper Royal Navy Rugby League, and we've every reason to cheer. 'Cause after a champion campaign, we're now Royal Navy Team of the Year. We've had some real battles this season. All the way through, competition's been stiff. But biggest challenge I've faced this year was finding a one's jacket to fit Johnny Griff. Obviously, there's folk here from all sorts of sports. So I won't bore you with a season review. But seeing as we've earned this great honour, I'll pick out an highlight or two. An historic Challenge Cup run to start with. It's first time we've gotten that far. And another first for an R&L chairman, Commander Eaton, put his card behind bar. Go on, Central lad. It's been a season to bring us together. Women, academy and senior teams. And lads were lucky enough back in July to go on championship, to go on Spanish holiday, training camp. Holiday of the dreams. Of course, there was strength and conditioning and a fair bit of time out on park. But all being bootnecks and matlows, it were a run ashore and a chance for a lark. Stretch learned when to talk and when to listen. We a lucky knock on end of his hooter. Bamps decided he were retiring and Griff went for a ride on a scooter. That's an inside joke. But coming back to this great award, we've won, and I think a couple of reasons. But top of that list, beating Army, not once, but 3 times in one season. We spoiled their party at Aldershot, sending them crashing out at Challenge Cup. Then we went Barter's business in Bradford, Academy and Seniors wanting services, then we went out in Leeds for a sup. Sport, it's more than what happens on field, on court or in ring or wherever. It's forging friendships that last for a lifetime and making memories that last forever. Now, obviously I'm a proud Yorkshireman. Instead of blood in my veins, I've got gravy. I was born back in Wakefield, West Yorkshire, but I was made in Royal Navy.
Magnificent. Yorkshire Pros, ladies and gentlemen, and Jason Steele, the team of the year, the Royal Navy Rugby League.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to move on to the nominations for the Official of the Year. The first nomination for Official of the Year is Lieutenant Commander Graham Blick. Graham has had an outstanding season as the principal official within Royal Navy Boxing. He was first introduced to military boxing over 30 years ago during basic training at HMS Daedalus. Originally, he wanted to learn some fancy skipping tricks to impress his peers, but the fire was lit, and he has been involved in the sport of boxing ever since. A competitive boxer during his early years, he won the Fleet Air Arm light welterweight title. On hanging up his gloves, Graham wanted to continue within the sport and became a boxing coach. He developed boxers and clubs at every unit he has served, ensuring that boxing was reinvigorated and continued to grow in service. Over the many years of coaching, Graham has trained and facilitated not only Royal Navy personnel within his unit, but also RAF and Army personnel to compete, and some who have gone on to win the inter-service title for their respective service. On commissioning in 2010, Graham began officiating, flying the flag for the Royal Navy Boxing not only at military shows but also at civilian events. He was quickly nominated to support the UK Armed Forces not only at inter-service championships but also at England events. To progress further, he became a referee, and this is where he's gone from strength to strength. He was recently selected to a major panel representing England at national championships. This further led to a mentorship scheme where he is now under one of England's leading three-star officials. This is a scheme, the scheme is led into being selected for international competitions, one of only 2 Royal Navy boxing officials ever to be selected. Graham was also the lead in building successful boxing clubs on both Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers with dedicated facilities, infrastructure, coaching staff and sponsorship deals. He organised the highly successful HMS Queen Elizabeth boxing show in February 22, the first time a boxing show has been staged on board an aircraft carrier in 20 years. In 2021, Graham unfortunately suffered a major heart attack, yet he refused to allow his medical condition to affect his support to boxing. With gritted determination throughout the 2021-2022 season, he has been formidable in his work for the Royal Navy Boxing Association, displaying desire and commitment to the sport. He sets clear goals and high expectations, but all in service to support all boxers and coaches in their aspirations and goals. He leads in a calm, inspiring and genuine way with complete open communication to all. Graham is without doubt the Royal Navy's #1 boxing official, and for this reason receives a nomination for RN Sports Official of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Graham Block. The second nomination for Sports Official of the Year is Lieutenant Commander Andrew Holly. For over a decade, Andrew has dedicated himself to enabling motorsport for others, a sport that requires a disproportionate number of officials and marshals to facilitate safe and fair competition. Andrew has been recognised at national and international level, being awarded UK Marshal of the Year in 2011 and the incredible achievement of being FIA World Marshal of the Year 2012. It is in international motorsport where he's been the most influential for the last 2 years. An ally of diversity in this male-dominated sport, he has championed to raise the profile of women in motorsport, and since 2021, he's been the race director for the extremely high-profile FIA W Series. An all-female support series to the Formula One World Championship, travelling globally to conduct his officiating duties. The W Series is the only accredited international series for women drivers established with the aim of providing a clear pathway for women drivers into Formula One. The mission of the W Series is simple: to build the world's most popular and inclusive female sporting series that inspires and empowers females to be part of motorsport on equal terms with men. To achieve this, they have selected key individuals that have experience and credibility to elevate and promote their aims, but equally, they have sought out those to align with and campaign their core commission statement. Possessing these essential tenets, Andrew was an ideal candidate for the role as race director. Throughout his tenure, he has been a vocal advocate of the need to provide opportunities for women within motorsport to facilitate a route to the highest levels. Inherently a team player, Andrew shares his unique experience among his service motorsport peers and thus enables Royal Navy and Royal Marine competitors to draw from his wealth of knowledge as they navigate the complex rules and regulations governing motorsport. Within the UK Club Motorsport, Andrew has been race director for the Mission Motorsport Race of Remembrance, with participants from all three service and the wounded service personnel competing with the Mission Motorsport charity. His high-profile international role supporting the W Series is a purely voluntary position, and Andrew manages a significant commitment in the margins of his day job at RAF Shawbury, where he's the helicopter instructor and standards officer with the #1 flying training school. His ability to balance his workload and sporting commitments is outstanding, and his dedication to both fields is beyond question. His global impact within the world of motorsport, addressing the gender imbalance, warrants formal recognition and thus receives a nomination for RN Sports Official of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Commander Andrew Holland. The third nomination for Official of the Year is for Lieutenant Commander Rich Stevenson. Rich has been involved with the Royal Navy Winter Sports Association as a committee member since 2010. He became the Chief Snowboard Instructor in 2015, and in 2019 he was assigned as the Alpine Championships Director, the first snowboarder ever to do so. The Alpine Championships is the Royal Navy's largest sports participation event, facilitating over 1,000 Royal Navy personnel. During his involvement with the Royal Navy Winter Sports Association, he was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and in 2010 received life-changing surgery. Despite the seriousness of this surgery, he has continued to support the championships every year. His first championships as director in 2020, he introduced new scheduling for the lessons, which proved to be very successful. Then COVID was upon us. He planned as usual for the 2021 season, and even though the alternative scheduling, venues and reduced championship scenarios, but it was not to be. 2022 looked more likely, and was not until December 21 when this was also cancelled. Not to be deterred, he persevered, and as the events director, he showed extraordinary drive in masterminding this year's Alpine Championships. Laser focused on the maintenance of the aim and seeing not only a change of date, but also a change of location. This remarkable feat was pulled off in the face of real and life-changing risk around COVID and the uncertainties around attendance that it brought. In addition to his involvement with the Royal Navy Winter Sports Association and the UK Armed Forces Winter Sports Association, he dedicates much of his time to the Armed Forces Para Snow Sports team. And for the past 4 years, he has helped many serving personnel and veterans in the sport of snowboarding. As snowboard director, a coach and instructor, he paved the way. Being the first to coach a totally blind snowboarder, most recently he is assisting a serving arm amputee soldier to realise his dream to reach the Paralympics in 2026. He is developing his current riders to attend the Winter Invictus Games in 2025, an event which he is being planned to be involved with directly. He has most recently written a complete military snowboard instructor's qualification, which has been accepted by the British Association of Ski Instructors, a course that will be introduced in January and, if successful, will be rolled out to the other 2 services. Despite his own personal health and daily challenges, Rich sets the example that we should all follow. Utterly selfless, he is always willing to put himself before others, and he lives and breathes winter sports and is fully deserving for his nomination for Official of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Lieutenant Commander Rich Stevenson, please welcome Lieutenant Commander Elliot Brown. And presented by Vice Admiral Andy Burns, CB, OBL, Fleet Commander and Chief Naval Warfare Officer.
Graham, Andrew, Rich, all three of you should be extremely proud for being nominated this evening. Outstanding contributions to your respective sports. But the winner of Sports Official of the Year, Sports Awards 2022, Lieutenant Commander Andrew Holly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the winner of the Official of the Year with us now. Andrew, first of all, I'm sure you'd very much like to pay tribute to Rich and also to Graham for their amazing achievements this year.
I would. I feel totally humbled amongst this whole company tonight, and especially the other nominations. I mean, everybody's citation just sounds fantastic, and the contribution that everybody makes to Navy sport and military sport is just fantastic, really.
Without you officials, we wouldn't have any military sport, but what you do is unbelievable, really, with the Women's Championship. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
So the W Series, the Women's Championship, was set up 4 years ago by sponsorship, really to try and give female drivers a step up into Formula One. I'm quite proud of motorsport. It's one of the few sports that you can compete on a level playing field, whether you're female, male, disabled or whatever. But in this male-dominated society, females have really struggled to get that step up. And the W Series is there to help them do that. And I feel so humbled to be working with the girls to try and get them into Formula One, because the races happen on the same weekends as the Grand Prix. They're usually just before qualifying. So the girls mix with the Formula One teams. Lewis Hamilton, the drivers come and see the girls, and it really is a fantastic boost for them. And it's a fantastic testament to the series that today, the champion this year and last year, Jamie Chadwick, has just got a drive in America in IndyCar Lights, which is the level below full IndyCar racing. And that's just fantastic for her. It's a great step up, and it's a great boost for British motorsport and female motorsport as well.
And I was going to ask you about the transition. You were 18 drivers and 9 teams in the championship. So how soon, or how near are we to getting a female driver in one of those Formula One seats?
I'd like to think within, so it's 2022 now, I'd like to think by the end of the decade, certainly 2029, 2030, I'd like to see females in Formula One. There's no reason why not, and it's what the sport really needs. The TV The TV coverage has been fantastic in the last few years with the new American owners, you know, and programs like Drive to Survive have really increased the TV viewing around the world, not only from the traditional supporters, but youngsters, male and female. And, you know, female in Formula One it's what's got to happen.
Now, just a final question to you. You travel all around the world with this. It's
Yes.
not just here in the UK, it's all around the world. You work with helicopters. Is that any use?
Oh, absolutely, yes, because teaching young...
I mean, do you get a helicopter? That's what I'm asking.
No, I don't, I'm afraid. I have to fly economy. I mean, what's going on? But the parallels with teaching youngsters to fly and trying to, you know, cajole females to race Formula One type cars is very similar. It's like having children, to be honest. It's, you know, guiding them, because I'm facilitating them to get to Formula One, and it's the same as facilitating youngsters to become helicopter pilots or whatever.
Well, congratulations. Fantastic achievement. Well done, Andrew. Official of the year. Go on, one more. He's not finished yet.
I would like to publicly thank very much my boss, Squadron Leader Rich Allison, for giving me the time away from the base to you know, further my passion. Keith Atwood, who's the head of the Motorsport Association, who wrote what a fantastic citation. But most of all, my wife, who lets me do this. She facilitates, she supports doing something.
Never sees you.
And it's like, you know, every sportsman here, behind every sportsman is a family that supports them, and they go often, you know, unsupported. So, thank you.
Well done, Andrew. Official of the year.
Admiral Sir, distinguished and honest guests, this nomination is for AET Walker. Having joined the RN in March 2020, AET Brittany Walker joined the service with a background as a talent martial artist, competing in both kickboxing and boxing. Brittany took part in a grassroots boxing session during her Phase 1 training in HMS Raleigh, and during this session she rediscovered her love for the sport. Following this grassroots session, Brittany began to train on top of an already intense physical and academic training schedule, getting up at 6 a.m. to conduct her own boxing Pacific training prior to the working day, under the guidance of the RNBN head coach and travelling around local civilian gyms in the Western region for boxing Pacific training. On completion of her academic studies, Brittany was determined to compete for the RN boxing team. She got a long-awaited opportunity in September 20, where she joined the RN squad at HMS Nelson, the home of Royal Navy Boxing. Brittany competed in the RM in the Inter-Service Championships in March 22 and became the first ever female 54 kilos Inter-Service Elite Champion. Brittany convincingly beat both her Army and RAF opponents. She went on to represent the RN and UK Armed Forces in the National Female Elite Boxing Championships in 22. Sacrificing numerous weekends to compete across the breadth of the country throughout 2021 to 2022 season, Brittany performed remarkably in the 2022 National Championships, winning a bronze medal and narrowly missing out on a place in the final. These championships established her calibre and almost the very best female boxer in the country. As a result of her impressive return to boxing, Brittany was selected to attend the international sparring training camp in Spain with the Royal Marines boxing team in July 22. This incredible young woman continues to inspire servicemen and women and has taken an active role to promote female boxing participation across the service. In recognition of her relentless and dedication, she was awarded the Best Female Newcomer of the Year at the RNBA end-of-season dinner. Brittany's outstanding performance throughout her first season representing the Royal Navy highlight her credible talent and inspirational work ethic. Having already caught the attention of the national boxing coaches, Brittany undoubtedly has the potential to be crowned the elite national female champion of the upcoming 2022 to 2023 boxing season and to compete for an opportunity for the national representative honours. Her long-time goal, competing for Great Britain, is entirely realistic. Ladies and gentlemen, A.T. Walker. The second nomination goes to E.T. Alex Forrest. Joining the Royal Navy in 2021, ETME2 Alex Forrest immediately highlighted her golfing ability to the HMS Raleigh physical training staff. Alex was selected for her first representative match shortly after completing Phase 1 training against the UK Police, winning both her matches and seamlessly integrating into the squad. Being the lowest handicap golfer in the team brought it with a high level of expectation, which have daunted many in the same position. However, following on from performance against the police, Alex delivered a superb performance against the best players in the Army and the RAF. During 2022, her golf has gone from strength to strength, winning her matches against Camswell and Hayling Island best golfers. Entering the Western Region Championships, she became the first female to win the event with scores of 71 and 73 on the extremely difficult China Fleet Club course, beating several members of the RM First team in the process. Following on from this victory, she entered the RN Championships as an individual in both ladies and individual straight play competition, a first for women's golf in the Royal Navy. Her performance throughout the week was outstanding, winning 3 out of 4 matches against strong male opposition, and in the individual competitions, she shot lower score on each of the 4 rounds. These performances resulted in her becoming the ladies' champion, winning 31 shots from second place and finishing 6th out of 55 golfers in the straight play individual. "2022 has been an exceptional year for Alex, whose obvious golfing ability has seemed to not obviously dominate Royal Navy's women's golf, but also represent the UK Armed Forces, all in her first year of the service. Whilst continuing to deliver her professionalism training and her career development, Alex has set the world of golf on fire amongst the females and males golfing community, delivering numerous firsts for female golfers. It is for those reasons that Alex is highly recommended for the RN Young Sportsman of the Year's award." Ladies and gentlemen, A.T. Forrest. I would now like to invite Commodore Chris Nicholson, Deputy Director, People Delivery, to announce the winner.
I'm looking at what can best be described as future legends here, listening to those citations, so good luck to both of you. The Royal Navy Young Sportsperson of the Year 2022 is A.B. Brittany Walker.
Ladies and gentlemen, you pack quite a punch, don't you?
I guess so, yeah.
No, you certainly do. Brittany, we've seen you a few times, obviously, when you've been competing. I think HMS Queen Elizabeth and also, obviously, in the UK Armed Forces Championships. And you're up against a fairly formidable opponent. Just tell us a little bit about those bouts with Frankie.
Yeah, I've boxed Frankie a couple of times. So I first sparred her, maybe 3 months coming up. Obviously got the better of her, but not to go into it or anything, you know. Bless, if she's watching this, I'm gonna look like a right. Anyways, but now Frankie's a really good friend, to be fair. So I'd like to not box her again, but if it happens, then bring it on. But either way.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, just a very quick question to all of you in the audience here tonight. How many of you enjoyed your dinner? Can you put your hand up, please, if you enjoyed your dinner? Everyone put your hand up. Everyone enjoyed their dinner. Someone here didn't actually get any dinner, did they?
No, so unfortunately I'm boxing in 2 days' time, so I've basically not eaten anything, or drunk anything, but don't feel too sorry for me. I've got this and a big award, so...
We don't feel sorry for you, Brittany, at all, but we're very proud of what you've achieved. And obviously, you've got a great future ahead. Just looking ahead to the future, where do you think you might be going?
Potentially, in the future, I would obviously I really want to win an elite title, because then you're the best in the country. And after that, I've got aspirations to turn pro eventually.
Not yet, though, please.
No, not yet, no. Learn my craft a little more, but definitely see myself winning an elite title. So that's for this, literally what I'm aiming for now and next year.
And how soon, maybe, before we get a women's bout actually as part of the UK Armed Forces Championships? Because that would be great, wouldn't it, to actually be part of it, rather than maybe your own special contest?
Sorry, what do you...
No, the UK Armed Forces Championship, obviously, that's the Army, Navy, RAF. It'd be great to have women actually as part of that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, women's sport, even in boxing and every sport, is coming on so much more at the moment, and it's so much better that it is coming in boxing, because boxing is a hard sport. It's not just even tonight I can't eat any of my food, so it's not just a sport. It takes your life. You don't get to do as much as everyone else, and it's really good that more women are getting into it, and that we get this that we get the support from everyone else. So yeah.
Well, Brittany, we're really proud of you. You are the Young Sportsperson of the Year for the Royal Navy. Brittany Walker, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Admiral Burns, sir, distinguished and honoured guests. The first nominee for Coach of the Year is LSC Silvanussi Buonamassa. LSC Silvanussi Buonamassa, also known as B, was first capped for the Royal Navy Rugby Union in 2007, enjoying a further 13-year career playing for Rugby League and Union. Sadly, in 2017, injury forced B to hang up his boots, and whilst many would have been tempted to retire from the sport that they loved, B wanted to ensure that the younger generation of sailors and Marines could enjoy the same opportunities that he had experienced. Volunteering for every coaching role that he could across both codes for Unit 7s, under 23s or senior level, B rapidly developed his coaching skills. This has culminated in an exceptional year for B. Firstly, he continued as head coach for the Orange Sharks Sevens teams, leading them to their first appearance at the prestigious GB Super Sevens competition. Competing at this series of weekend rugby events held over 5 consecutive weekends, the Sharks were pitted against the best Sevens teams in the country. Following this, B was invited to coach the UK Armed Forces Sevens teams in the inaugural Rugby World Military Sevens competitions held in France. With 16 nations competing, the UK Armed Forces team were crowned winners. As As assistant coach for the senior men's 15s with sole responsibility for the backs, B was instrumental in the recovery of the team post the protracted pandemic break. One of B's key coaching strengths is his ability to engage and develop the individual, recognising that in doing so, the team will then form and flourish. Running throughout the year, this Royal Navy Rugby League team has competed in the historic National Challenge Cup competition. Assisting in the coaching, B inspired a remarkable run of form and the team progressed to the 4th round of the competition for the first time in 25 years. A true professional in all that he does, B recognised that his extended time away from his professional duties would mean that others would cover his duties. To atone for his absence, B volunteered for additional duties when not covering. A staunch family man, this has led to further periods of separation from his young family, to whom this much is as much a reward for them as it is to B. Many players will cite B for their inspiration, his commitment to develop all, no matter what their standard or potential. And it is remarkable. His dedication to the Royal Navy Rugby across both codes distinguishes him from others and makes him an outstanding nominee for Award of Coach of the Year. Sirs, ladies and gentlemen, LSC Silvanussi Boonamasi, represented by Commander Aidan Riley. Second nominee for Sports Coach of the Year, Captain Lee Maddox, RM. As a relative newcomer to the sport, Captain Lee Maddox embraced kayaking as both an athlete and a manager, showing a rare combination of personal drive and exceptional selfishness, with a keen wish to see both the RM and RM paddlers increase their competitiveness against the other services. He has driven structure and process into a small association. He has fought for greater funding, for much needed new equipment, all whilst identifying and using personnel trained in boat repair to save a significant amount of money in maintenance costs. Through charisma and industry, he promoted the sport across the Corps, advertising its success and recruiting new paddlers. Though this was primarily to compete in the prestigious devices to the Westminster DW 125-mile canoe race, he has ensured continued engagement through promotion of training camps and encouraging participation in civilian sprint and marathon racing events. Primarily focused on sprint and marathon kayaking, he has not neglected the other paddle sports disciplines, including supporting the growth of the RM stand-up paddleboard participation and competition. All these efforts have resulted in significant performance uplift for the Royal Marines kayak team. The first indications for this appeared when a considerable proportion of Royal Marines helped the Royal Navy achieve a rare second place in the 2021 Inter-Service Sprint and Marathon Championships. However, his most notable achievements were evident in the Royal Marine performance during the 2022 DW. Following a 10-week training camp and with 16-member team comprising of 8 novices, the race was a resounding success. That all 8 boats finished with itself is a rare and commendable achievement, and a testament to Captain Maddox's preparation and example. The slew of trophies collected through his most arduous of physical challenges reflects not just individual drive and determination, but also an instilled team ethos and camaraderie, all engendered through his efforts. As an individual, Lee achieved the highest Royal Marine finish since 1997, coming 4th overall, winning the veteran and service categories, whilst the RM team comprehensively won the inter-service team competition, reversing decades of Army dominance in the event and challenging the very best civilian clubs. These successes would not have been achieved without the extraordinary efforts and example and encouragement of Captain Lee Maddox, who is an exceptional nominee for Coach of the Year. Sirs, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Lee Maddox. The third nominee for Coach of the Year, Major Marty Page, RM. Major Major Marty Page has been an integral part of the Royal Navy Basketball Association for over 20 years. A talented player in his own right, he has represented the association at under 23 senior and UK Armed Forces squads. But it is as a coach and committee member that his determination to succeed, perseverance and exceptional talent has laid the foundations to allow the association to achieve a run of wins that has been unparalleled in Navy basketball. On taking on the role as head coach in 2019, he inherited a squad that was still in a very early development stage and a committee that was in a state of flux. His immediate focus was one to stabilising the squad, creating the foundations for success, and more importantly, having the longer-term vision to support grassroots development by seeking and mentoring new joiners to ensure strength in depth both on and off the court. Before becoming head coach, Marty supported externally recruited basketball coaches. Not afraid of making difficult decisions, he implemented a series of training and management changes which started showing early signs of success in 2015, with a victory in the ladies' tournament for the first time in association history. In 2017, he coached the seniors team to victory over a strong Army squad, a first in 30 years. Resuming basketball once again following the COVID-enforced break, he ensured the teams were match fit and ready to compete at the inter-services after a long break. The seniors faced a strong opposition, however, under his guidance, they came through to win the tournament for the fourth time in a row, achieving the highest level of success in the history of the association. The level of performance, grit and determination within the squad was reflected with the highest number of players being nominated for the UK Armed Forces squad. Widely recognised for his coaching talent, this season he has also been selected for the UK Armed Forces head coach position, the first time that the RN has held that post for at least 25 years. What makes these achievements so commendable is that throughout he has also had several demanding postings where he has often been required to deploy around the world for months at a time. Without Marty, the Royal Navy Basketball Association and indeed the UK Armed Forces would almost certainly not have achieved the level of success that it has over the recent years. His dedication, resilience and sheer tenacity to succeed make him a thoroughly deserving nominee for Coach of the Year. Sirs, ladies and gents, Major Marty Page, represented by Commander Tim Chiavella. Commander Rose, Deputy and Director of Plans and Integration, to announce the winner.
Thank you. Well, enormous congratulations to all three of you. But the Royal Navy Sports Coach of the Year for 2022 goes to leading hand Silvanusi Bunamasi.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have on stage here Aidan. You are going to sort of speak on behalf of B, who I gather, B, maybe he's possibly watching. Do you think he's watching?
Almost certainly.
Because he's in Dubai. He's chosen to be in Dubai, ladies and gentlemen, rather than here tonight. I mean, Hayley, I'll bring you in first. You must be so proud.
Oh, so proud. Like, he would obviously love to be here, but Dubai Sevens and rugby is calling, so that's where he is with 2 teams for the Wyvern Harlequins, so I'm here.
Well, I think it's brilliant that you're here tonight. Aidan, you know B pretty well. In fact, I mean, every time I go to a rugby game involving the Royal Navy, whether it's rugby union or rugby league, he's there. He's there, but clearly not tonight. But you know, obviously this is a fantastic award, isn't it, to achieve? But the first time that the Navy have given a Coach of the Year award.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. As you said, someone that both codes know. I think he's probably helped out the league more than Union in terms of... I was tongue-in-cheek there, sorry. In terms of bringing them up. But yeah, everyone within Navy Rugby, both codes, knows him incredibly well. And he's genuinely dedicated his life in excess of his advancement personally to rugby, and which is incredibly amazing. And what a humble man. Honestly, if he was stood up here today, he would be lost for words. He's a quiet man, but he's incredibly... But he's also incredibly ruthless, and incredibly ruthless at getting the best out of people, incredibly selfless and determined to get the best out of the people he works with, which is fantastic.
Well, he was certainly ruthless as a player. I do remember that.
Indeed. Yeah, incredibly so. Yeah, unfortunately, I never played against him other than in friendlies, but yeah, very much.
And Hayley, I mean, obviously with the rest of the family as well. You know, he's away a lot, but you put up with an awful lot for him to do this, don't you?
We do, to be fair. Well, some people know, some people don't. But I'm in the RAF and I play netball, so we're a very... Sorry.
Your standing has just gone down a little bit.
We're a sporting family, so we do support each other in that respect. So if I'm away, he's away. We do what he can, but admittedly, as our family and kids, we do follow him. We follow him wherever he goes, whether it's league, union, sevens. We spend our time. We spend our time following him around, but that's something as a family that we're more than happy to commit to. So for him to actually get the win, like, he's all, like, as you've already mentioned, he's all for the team, the players, and that's what he dedicates his time for, if that makes sense. So.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, B. Buonamasi is Coach of the Year. Thank you so much for speaking on his behalf.
Oh, no, it's all right.
Admiral Burns, sir, distinguished and honoured guests. I'm now going to read 3 citations for the Sportswoman of the Year award. May I ask that the nominees remain standing at their table until the citation is read. On completion, Captain Paul Matthews, Head of People Support, will announce the winner, and our principal VIP for this evening, Vice Admiral Burns, will present the awards. The first nomination for Sportswoman of the Year is Lieutenant Kiani Pay. Joining the service with a background of training and competing as a multi-event athlete and netball player for her youth, this proved a solid foundation for her success through regional, RN and inter-service competitions, leading her to represent in the UK Armed Forces at both track and field and netball disciplines. She has performed well at every regional, RN and inter-service track and field competition that has taken place over the past 5 years, and for her initial UK Armed Forces shot put performance at the combined inter-counties and England AA Championships in 2018. Kiani has also achieved a parallel path in women's netball, representing the Royal Navy as a very competitive defender in the positions of goalkeeper and goal defence. Competing at inter-service level every year, rising to the position of vice captain in 2021 and then captain for the 21-22 season. Her performances have been exceptional, culminating in the award of Player of the Inter-Services Championships 2022. The Royal Navy, go for it. The Royal Navy women's netball team have grown in stature through her involvement as a player and involving leadership roles, becoming ever more competitive against the other two services. She has established herself a position as integral member of the UK Armed Forces team. Quite apart from a well-established and well-applied sports aptitude, Kiani has proven to be an excellent motivator and focal point to encourage participation in both netball and athletics. RN track and field traditionally face strong challenges at Inter-Service Championships, but have proved more successful since she has been involved. Already a multi-medalist at Inter-Service level prior to 2022, this year at RAF Cosford saw her leading the way for the RN team, taking part in 6 events with wins in the women's shot put, javelin and 3rd in the long jump. Her willing commitment to compete across a range of events, always with a smile and positive demeanour, set a very good example to all of our athletes, both men and women, inspiring them to meet the challenges presented. Kiani has made significant commitments and contributions to RN sport over the past 5 years, not just as a competitor and a team member, but most significantly as a positive force and presence within Royal Navy Women's Netball and Royal Navy Athletics teams. Kiani deserves recognition for her high-performance prowess in 2 different sports, notably at inter-service events and up to UK Armed Forces representation. She is highly deserving of recognition and is unreservedly recommended for Royal Navy Sportswoman of the Year 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant Kiani Pay. The second nomination for Sportswoman of the Year is Surgeon Lieutenant Commander Rachel Aldridge. Rachel has achieved multi-RN sports successes balanced against the high demands of her Royal Navy medical career. Maybe that knowledge and expertise has underpinned her sport prowess and development of strength, power, endurance and aerobic capacity. Over the past 5 years, Rachel has represented the Royal Navy in 3 athletics disciplines, track and field, cross country and road, and in the past 2 years, indoor rowing. Adopting a long-term structured training regime for indoor rowing, she adapted to improve technique and disciplined approach to stroke rate to optimise gains. Committing to a full 21-22 racing programme and the highly competitive online Global Indoor Rowers League, which featured 8 monthly challenges from September through to April, it quickly became apparent that she had performance levels at the forefront of all women competing. Work requirements have required an adaptable approach to training at different times of the day. Although not ideal, it did not impact her ability to set regular personal bests in training and IRL time trials. After setting one personal best during a challenge, she apologised for not going faster, as it may have been due to running 10k to work before training. In the 2k and 500 metre disciplines, she was the fastest woman at the Royal Navy Championships, with undoubted performance potential which was soon to be realised. Rachel entered 3 events at the British Rowing Indoor Championships, all in very competitive open categories against international rowers, including many of the GB rowing squad. Undaunted by the level of competition and the intense aerobic demands, her focus was on performance in the pursuit of personal best times, and she consequently set a 2k BB to finish 5th with some GB rowers in her virtual wake. Within 90 minutes, she won a bronze medal in a 1-minute row, requiring a completely different type of effort, far more explosive and leading to lactic acid byproducts dumped in the bloodstream, with a 500 metre race yet to come. 2 hours later, not fully recovered, she delivered another committed intense performance to win Women's Open 500 metre gold. Although she did not win a medal in the Women's Open 2K, it was arguably greater value than the 2 other medal performances, given the standard of opposition and setting the fastest RN women's time for many years. Rachel concluded the 21-22 indoor rowing season as the overall winner of the Global Indoor Rowers League. Rachel's undoubted commitment to Royal Navy indoor rowing and athletics, most notably her triple race performances at British Rowing Indoor Championships and winning the Women's Overall Indoor Rowing League title, lead to her being highly recommended for the title of Royal Navy Sportswoman of the Year for 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, Surgeon Lieutenant Commander Rachel Aldridge. The third nomination for Sportswoman of the Year is Band Sergeant Claire Walsh. Picking up a bow for the first time in 2018 and shooting regularly with her Southampton-based club, former Archer Supreme Claire rapidly became one of the top Hampshire County archers in her class. Since joining the Royal Marine Band Service, Claire has always been on hand to support Royal Navy in home class grassroots events, have a go taster sessions especially, where she is only too happy to pass on her knowledge and skill to others. Claire dominated at the Inter-Service Indoor Championships back in December 21, posting the top score of all service competitors, beating all the male recurve competitors too. This inter-service achievement was even more impressive given that the competition was concurrent with the UK Archery National Governing Body UK National Championships. Claire being the only service competitor to make it through to the national head-to-head knockout stage. With national ranking status secured, it was no surprise that Claire went on to win the single service competition in March 22. Switching to the more challenging outdoor discipline, shooting all day at distances of 80 metres plus, Claire made the transition look effortless. Once again bringing home the female recurve inter-service trophy for the Royal Navy at the RAF hosted competition in August 22. With a Royal Marines Band production manager day job, routinely eating into her precious evening and weekend practice time, but still managing to carefully balance this with archery competition, her performances are especially noteworthy. Claire's Olympic recurve archery year 21-22 has been quite outstanding, winning pretty much every competition she has entered, conclusively proving that dedication, determination and solid steel composure can deliver considerable and sustained success. Ladies and gentlemen, Band Sergeant Claire Walsh. Ask Captain Paul Matthews, Head of People Support, to announce the winner, and our Principal VIP for this evening, Vice Admiral Burns, will present the awards.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have huge privilege in announcing this award, and I would like to say that whatever it says in this envelope, all of these ladies are absolute winners. But there has to be one absolute winner, and that goes to Lieutenant Rachel Aldridge.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, your Royal Navy Sportswoman of the Year is right here, Rachel Aldridge. Congratulations, Rachel. And I'm sure you'd like to just pay tribute to your two other nominees tonight.
Oh yeah, very much so. I'm incredibly surprised to have won it against such competition. I actually assumed I was coming just to watch them win. So no, they're. Perhaps that's going to explain a lot of the next interview and why it's quite unprepared.
Well, I think you're all phenomenal, ladies and gentlemen, all phenomenal athletes tonight. Rachel, I have to ask, obviously, several sports, athletics, and obviously the indoor rowing. So, which is the winner at the moment?
I think indoor rowing is probably where my natural talent lies. Having tried a long time at running, I eventually realised that I was probably just naturally not as good as it. So yeah, very much indoor rowing.
I mean, you've had a phenomenal success, but just hearing those citations, I mean, the actual time between the races in those British Championships was nothing. You had to sort of do the 330 followed by 500, and then you had a, 5-minute break, and then you were into the next one. And yet, the one that you finished 5th in was probably the one that gave you the most pleasure. Is that right?
It's probably the one that was like, as Paul, my coach, said, is probably the best result of the three. But yeah, no, it wasn't a pleasant timetabling by the event organisers, and it was pretty tough. But yeah, no, I was.
So why indoor rowing then? You know, what sort of attracted you to that sport?
I suppose a little bit the fact that I'm tall, so naturally I was hoping it might help. No, to be honest, it was flexibility. I mean, Paul Winton, sorry, I'm very much going to deflect this to him now, is an amazing coach, and he has very much optimised on how to train people remotely, which when you're a doctor seconded to Edinburgh and quite remote from the Navy has been incredibly useful and incredibly important at keeping me, and I know the rest of the indoor rowing team, really engaged. And yeah, all credit to Paul, he's absolutely amazing.
And obviously being a doctor as well, you've got such a busy schedule professionally, but so to achieve all this as well is quite remarkable.
Thank you.
So how do you do it, I guess?
Not much sleep.
Not much sleep, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you get used to training at all times of the day. I don't think Paul or anyone else would probably really approve if they knew of my actual training schedule compared to what the paper says it should be. It's just you kind of have to adapt a little bit to the nature of 12-hour shifts and sometimes long commutes when the NHS decides they're going to second you to other hospitals and where you live, and you just kind of relax and just deal with it as it comes.
I don't think we'll call indoor rowing relaxing at all for a moment, but just finally, what sort of sporting ambitions maybe lie ahead for you? Because obviously you've achieved so much already.
To be honest, actually, I'd love to try my hand at rowing on the water. That would be a dream to actually see if rowing on the water could work out for me. But in the meantime, just trying to actually, I'm still quite new to indoor rowing, so I don't think I've quite peaked necessarily with where I could go with it. So
watch out, everyone else, and if you haven't quite peaked yet, but I'm sure the rowing fraternity would love to have you on board.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rachel Aldridge, your Sportswoman of the Year.
Admiral Burns, sir, distinguished and honoured guests, good evening. Here are the nominees for the Sportsman of the Year Award 2022. This award will be presented by Dr. Rowan Taylor, Head of Navy Sport. Our first nominee is LPT Samdew for powerlifting. He's being represented here tonight by Commodore John Aiken, RN, President of the Royal Navy Powerlifting Association. In powerlifting, it is simple. Have you lifted more than the last time? The sport requires a huge amount of gritty determination matched by controlled aggression across 4 disciplines: single lift, squat, bench, deadlift, and a combination of all lifts, full power. LPT Samdew is a former champion at both European and world level across the Drug-Free Powerlifting Federation and Association. Now take a second to look at things from Sam's perspective. Imagine your life without powerlifting. Now slap yourself and never do that again. Okay. After a brief hiatus, he got back into his chosen sport and returned to the platform facing new challenges and with a renewed passion for lifting and coaching. This year, Sam competed with British powerlifting, winning the under 74 kilogram category at the Welsh Winter Cup and easily qualified for the British Championships. At the British Men's Classic, he placed 5th in a hotly contested full power event, ending with a total lift of 655 kilograms. Sam represented the RN at the UK Armed Forces Powerlifting Championships in July and won the full power section, exceeding all records across the 4 disciplines in the under 75 kilogram class with a total of 660 kg. For Sam, this was light work. This performance was a linchpin that enabled the RN's men's team to win the UCAF Championships for the first time in the 15-year history of the event. Sam has never forgotten his roots and utilizes his experience, coaching skills, and his role as a member of the RM Powerlifting Association Committee to write training programs for his fellow teammates, securing sponsorship and organizing competitions. Ranked #1 in the RN and UCAF, Sam's impressive performances led to his selection to represent Wales at the Commonwealth Powerlifting Champs currently taking place in New Zealand. His ability and dedication to the sport of powerlifting is undeniable, and he's an outstanding athlete and individual who represents the very best of the RN's core values. Ladies and gentlemen, LPT Sam Dew. Our second nominee for Sportsman of the Year is Commander Russell Clark, RN, for sailing. Commander Russell Clark does a lot of leaning. He sails in 2 different classes of racing. Yeah, all the people who know about sailing, happy. Okay, he sails in 2 different classes of racing dinghies, the International 505, a very complex and high-performance 2-person boat, and the International OK class, a technical 1-person dinghy. In the latter, his achievements include winning the Sprint Championships, a 3rd place at the International Sprint Cup in the Netherlands, and winning the UK Super Series over multiple weekend events. Dealing with COVID recovery and work pressures while trying to support emergent operations, Clark's preparation for the 2022 season was challenging and reduced his opportunities to practice. Remaining resolute, he spent significant personal time and effort dedicated to improving his equipment, committing personal investment in travel, and preparing as thoroughly as possible. Neither injury, equipment failure, nor 4th place finish at the 505 National Championships could stop the determination of Clark. A few weeks later, at the International OK Class National Championships, his calm and clinical approach led him to beat a former GB Olympic Sailing Squad member and return ashore as the 2022 champion. This then gave him the honor of top peacock, displaying his sails with the number GBR1 for the next 12 months. Okay. Recently, Clark sailed in the OK Dinghy European Champs and finished a very respectable 6th. In yacht racing, his successes have continued. While skippering the Royal Navy J70 team at the Royal Yacht Squadron Commodore's Invitational Regatta, they achieved 3rd place. Other successes followed in short order. After joining civilian teams as a tactician and strategist, and using his navigational and meteorological knowledge, Clark was instrumental in achieving several wins along the coasts of both the Isle of Wight and Spain. Clark is both a role model and an ambassador for the sport in the RN. A clear champion for RN sailing, he has assumed the role of Royal Navy Sailing Association Rear Commodore Dinghies, where he is actively promoting the development of sailing from grassroots to elite level. Commander Russell Clark has achieved extraordinary success this year across multiple disciplines in both military and civilian worlds, but remains humble yet passionate about the sport he truly loves. Ladies and gentlemen, Commander Russell Clark, RN. Our third and final nominee for Sportsman of the Year 2022, also our final nominee for the night, is Maureen Taylor Lawrence for bobsleigh. Clearly a fan, clearly. Okay, listen. He felt the rhythm, he felt the rhyme. He got up and did it in bobsleigh time, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, he's been represented here tonight by his brother, Sub-Lieutenant Tremaine Bailey, okay? And don't ask Jamaicans anything about bobsleigh, don't, because I'm gonna give it to you in Sanka time, lucky egg. Okay. Strength, speed, technical ability, and explosive power makes a successful bobsleigh athlete. And Maureen Taylor Lawrence is all that and a bag of snowflakes. Bobsleigh is a sport that consistently abuses the body and is not for the faint of heart, and traditionally takes years of training and development to progress. Now, key to bobsleigh is experience, but due to Taylor's determination and potential, he was recruited into the GB development squad and quickly grasped all concepts of the sport. He made his debut on the European circuit in Germany only 3 months after being introduced. His performances were identified as world-class, and Taylor was quickly promoted within the ranks to the GB1 four-man sled. Through Taylor's efforts on the World Cup circuit, the crew managed 3 podium finishes, which included 3 silvers and an overall 4th place finish. One of the Royal Navy's elite athletes, Taylor was subsequently selected by Team GB to represent at the 2022 Beijing Olympics, Winter Olympics that is, and his foreman crew achieved a very hard-fought 6th place among strong and well-funded international competitors. His influence on team morale, no doubt, due to his Royal Marine wit and humor, for the Marines in the room, cue the word hoofing, okay, has been pivotal and had been pivotal to the team's overall success. While still fresh from competing as an Olympian, Taylor was not easing up at all. He competed at the Inter-Services and helped to ensure a Royal Navy win for the 2nd year in a row. Currently competing in the World Cup circuit, Taylor has made incredible achievements as a great British Olympian, yet this has not extinguished his keenness to remain a facilitator and a proliferator of RN bobsleigh grassroots development. To go from novice to Olympian is in such a short space of time, and to compete strongly on the world stage is nothing short of groundbreaking and a reflection of his unique ability and talent. Ladies and gentlemen, Maureen Taylor Lawrence.
Admiral Burns, ladies and gents, before we get into the announcement of the winner for Sportsman of the Year, rather, I think it's worth a quick chuck up for LPT Reggie Yates for the best delivery of the night. I can assure you that the panel had great difficulty, not just with this shortlist, but with all of them. And this one was particularly strong and a real tough decision to make. But I'm delighted to announce that the Sportsman of the Year for 2022 is Maureen Taylor-Lawrence.
Well, Tremaine, speaking on behalf of your bro
Indeed.
tonight, fantastic award, obviously, to be nominated and voted as the Royal Navy Sportsman of the Year. I mean, we've all seen how well Brad is doing, and of course that has continued. I mean, we just heard Ronnie's mention of the World Cup. He's already got a second place in this year's World Cup, which is phenomenal in the first race of the year.
He has, no, absolutely. It's an absolute honour to stand here tonight in his stead. He's out in Canada at the moment with his boys, smashing it, and currently got a couple of silver medals under their belt. So it's an absolute honour to be, here in behalf of him tonight, which is great.
And he's competing again this weekend to Park City, USA, in round 2 of the World Cup, isn't he? So, it never stops with them.
No, absolutely no. It's full go, hence why he can be here tonight, of course. But I've got every faith, and I hope he comes back with gold. So we do have a little speech actually, which he's written on behalf, which of course I'd like to say.
Well, that'll be brilliant.
Absolutely. I was thinking I have got my own, but how on earth can I top that poem that the man did earlier? So,
he's a professional, actually.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, of course. But no, it's an absolute honour to stand here tonight in front of my brother, Taylor Lawrence. So, the first part of the speech.
It's a long one.
All talks about how he's taller than me, funnier than me, better looking, and you're not wrong. But the thing is, though, Taylor, I know you're watching. But I can tell everyone you're snaggy dits in the bar later when you're not here. So I of course jest. But no, I jest. It's an absolute honour to stand here tonight in front of Taylor. So, firstly, I'm sorry I can't be here in person. I'm having to be entertained by my older brother. He won't be as funny as me, but hopefully he's practiced his speech and doesn't mess up delivery too badly. A huge congratulations to the other nominees that are here tonight. The Royal Navy has an esteemed reputation when it comes to sport, and it's privileged to be recognised as part of that. Sport has always played a huge part in my life, from football to rugby, but not in a million years did I think I would be competing in bobsleigh. I would like to start by thanking 2 people that aren't here tonight, but without whom I would not be where I am. Sergeant Adam Baird and Colour Sergeant Ash Morris. Yeah. I have been playing rugby for the Corps, and Sergeant Baird has seen that I was quite big and quite quick. Two things that lend themselves to being a good bobsleigh athlete. I passed my name over to Client Sergeant Morris, who was manager of the Navy bobsleigh team at the time. Yes, for those of you that don't know, we have a bobsleigh team. Yeah. I remember walking past a window at 4-2, undoubtedly on the way to completing some mundane tasks before hearing Colour Sergeant Morris shouting out of the window, "Oi, come here!" I rushed over and he asked, "Have you ever done bobsleigh before?" Like any normal person, I replied, "No." He then said, "Do you want to?" To which he said, "Yeah, why not?" He then said, "Leave it with me," and went on his way. I was left standing there wondering what on earth had just happened and what I'd inadvertently just signed up for. From that day on, though, I have never looked back and loved every step of my journey. It's truly honoured to receive this award. Thank you to everyone here tonight, in particular Dr. Rowan Taylor and Steve Perry. They do a fantastic job facilitating the dual careers of us sporting soldiers so we can represent our units with pride on the global stage. A huge thank you to everyone who has followed along and supported this journey, and that I can continue to be lucky enough to explore. It's the fine margins that we deal with as elite soldiers and elite athletes. Those fine margins can mean life or death, subpar performance, or a championship medal. Lastly, 99% of the time, if someone shouts at you from a window, it's probably abuse, and you should probably ignore it and carry on with your day. But that 1% of the time, it could be an opportunity to change the course of your life. Ultimately, I want to thank the Royal Navy for teaching me to excel in this fine margins. My life will never be the same. Thank you.
Brilliantly delivered, Train. Thank you very much indeed. We're obviously really proud of him because he's following in the footsteps of, the likes of John Jackson. Obviously you set an incredible, really, an amazing way for him to follow.
Absolutely, no. It's the example he's following. Hopefully, in the future, he inspires plenty more young people to, follow his path or something along those lines. And yeah, I'll say, Taylor, I know you're watching, so God, I have to try and pick him up now. But no, genuinely, Taylor, yeah, very proud of the fact he's a Royal Marines Commando. Firstly, very proud of the fact he's an Olympian, but most of all, proud of the fact he's my brother. So, well done.
Can't do better than that, ladies. And congratulations to Taylor Lawrence, the Royal Navy's Sportsman of the Year.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow, what a night showcasing what I think is absolutely the best of Navy sport. As head of Navy sport, it's my honour and privilege to get to close this evening's ceremony. But also as head of Navy sport, I get to keep back a certain nugget of special information that I'll save for a bit later just to make sure you don't all switch off too early. You've heard a lot of speeches and a lot of talking tonight, so I will keep this brief, and time is marching on. But firstly, I just wanted to reiterate some words that the Admiral said a bit earlier on. This truly is a brilliant time for Navy sport, with significant new participation, investment, and senior buy-in. Today's awards rightly recognise the best of the best, but we can be equally proud that our grassroots participation is growing, and that over 50% of the Navy now regularly participates in organised sport, delivered by the Navy sports team, PTIs, and other enablers out there. As the chair of the panel, which decides the Sports Awards winners, I'd like to emphasise just how much of an achievement it is to be nominated for an award, never mind being shortlisted. Every year, as the standard and volume of participation grows, it becomes more and more difficult, and I'm only sorry that I can't recognise each and every nominee in some small way. There are hundreds out there, and only 49 made it through to the panel this year. Whittling down 49 to the select few in this room really is tough. However, to win an award is truly exceptional, and to our outstanding contribution winners, Paula, Sid, Lockie, Hells and Chris, and to this year's Roll of Honour winners, Rachel, Taylor, Andy, Bea, Brittany and Royal Navy Rugby League, well done. join a very select group which includes multiple Olympic and world gold medalists. Some of you will now go on to compete against your Army and RAF counterparts at the UK Armed Forces Sports Awards in March, where the competition will be even greater. Now for that little special announcement. I also sit on the panel which decides the winners of the UK Armed Forces Sports Awards, and, just like the Royal Navy, the announcement of the UK Armed Forces Sports Team of the Year is made in advance. Drum roll, please. And in case they haven't already worked it out, I'm delighted, truly, truly delighted to announce that the UK Armed Forces Sports Team of the Year for 2022 is, you guessed it, Royal Navy Rugby League. I thought that would be a popular announcement. Sean Heaton, Chairman, Jace, Lockie. Not yet. Sean's time will come at the UK Armed Forces Sports Awards in March, where he will rightly be recognised along with the rest of the team and invited to say a few words at the RAF Club in Piccadilly. So, guys, phenomenal achievement and fully deserved, not just because of the competitive success on the field and in particular reaching the 4th round of the Challenge Cup, but also, and particularly personal to me and the strategy that I'm trying to promote, it's all about grassroots and participation and growing the base of that pyramid. And Rugby League, along with many other associations at the moment, epitomises that new agenda about sport for all and Navy Fit and everyone coming and having a go. So particularly for me, I'm really delighted for you guys. And I think I'd like to raise a toast, actually, to Royal Navy Rugby League. Ladies and gents, just remains for me to say a few thank yous. As others have said already tonight, a huge thank you to Lords for allowing us to host this event in such a superb setting. I can think of nowhere better, and I'm delighted to look forward to being back again here next year. Thank you, Lords. To Glenn Young and my team, who put so much effort into this, 99% of it goes unseen. What you see tonight is very much just the end product of what is a very long and sometimes difficult journey in making all of this happen. I know they get paid for it, but believe me, they absolutely go above and beyond in making sure that this event runs smoothly, including some hiccups on the night, which hopefully you haven't been aware of. So to Glenn and the team, absolutely brilliant. And finally, I'd just like to pay thanks to our sponsors, partners, media teams, without whom none of this could be possible. It's not cheap coming here, and we need a lot of support. It's not just my team. There are external partners and agencies who all make this work. So to our sponsors, partners, and others who are associated with this event, a huge thank you again. Right, that draws this year's Sports Awards to a close. Thank you everybody for coming along. Very happy Christmas. And just before you go and everyone disappears to the bar, if I could invite all the nominees, please, and Admiral Burns to muster over by the Christmas tree where we take the annual traditional photograph. Thank you, everybody.
Well, this is the ramp that the F-35 fast jets take off from.
All the action on the exercise is taking place just a couple of hours' drive from where Estonia has her border with Russia.
It can take up to 10 hours to clean and polish all of the kit needed for both horse and rider.
How much cold, hard cash governments are going to be prepared to spend on defence and the increasingly simulated military training that comes with it.